Black people don't own homes. Only white people have homes. This you might not have known this. This is a surprise.
Let's talk about Asmongold. I've been in America for a couple of years now, and I have been very fascinated with, the whole facet of American society. I'll say Asmongold kind of is one of those things I was introduced to. His commentary style has done a bit on me. He made me like games. He made me really listen to all these gaming commentary. I don't play games. I watch cutscenes. I used to watch it back in my home country. I used to watch the StarCraft cutscene, Kerrigan, like the whole Insect Queen stuff. I really liked it. I watched Halo cutscenes because they were very good, and I also watched God of War cutscenes. I really liked it, but that was it. Coming here and getting acquainted more and more with American society and American norms, whatever, and the whole politicking that goes on in America. I will say that Asmongold has played a huge role. Rummaging through the internet, I kind of try to see where he started, how he started. And obviously he started off as the WoW player. He then started transitioning, I think, after COVID into more of social commentary, React content, which, is very controversial. A lot of people are not very fond of, React content creators, and they see them as leeches and thieves. Then he started delving deeper into more, controversial topics and more complex issues, political issues, where I would say, for me, just from what I've seen, it was a turning point in his, perception. One thing I've noticed in America is that content creators in particular, and even general people, don't really like getting into the whole political murk. They might maybe do some social commentary here and there, and or say the politically correct things. But Asmongold does not do that. He doesn't do that. Most content creators stay away from it, because when the mob comes for you, you are completely doomed. One of the things I heard him talk about is the whole idea of how Occupy Wall Street, opened his eyes to things, like how the media manipulates stuff, blah blah blah, like how the whole bipartisan thing started off. And for me, I think he really, really started, leaning into his era, basically during the whole Gamergate stuff. That is something I see him talk about all the time, the whole Gamergate controversy. I would say that really did have a big impact, because it's kind of encroached on what he loved doing. And, he talks about how he no longer likes playing WoW because just not good it used to be. It's not as, interesting. You can't say things, you're censored and all that. And, I guess everything can go wrong in life, but don't come for my game kind of vibe is what he gives. I don't think Asmongold gives a damn about the fact that people don't like him or hate him or are very visceral in their hatred or attacking his character, defaming him. I think he's that autistic about I'm definitely sure if he was to go and do some form of test or whatever, he definitely is on the spectrum, because he really does not even show that he is bothered by these things the way you expect. Because if someone hates you, at some point you kind of, okay, let me censor myself to be more presentable or palatable. He doesn't do it. He kind of even doubles down. One of the reasons I say that is because when you look at Asmongold, he has this stereotypical bum look, someone who is not going to be anything in life. He's just going to be he's just not going to be something worth it. He has this uninspiring look, rotten teeth, hillbilly look, someone who isn't supposed to be something in life, but he is something in life. I think that forces his haters to question why can't they be like him, because he is almost basic, but he is one of the biggest. He's one of the most popular. He is rich. He has everything that they want to have, but they don't have it. Some of them might have even put in a lot of effort, but they will never be where he's meant to be. And I think that really forces them to really look at themselves and see that they are kind of like failures. I think it causes a level of insecurity because he's like a mirror. I am just me. And you have been trying hard and you will never be me. You will never be able to ascend. I think that jealousy really makes people hate him because a lot of the insults target his appearance. Basically, oh, he's dirty, he has bad teeth, he's a roach, he killed his mom. Like things that they never go for his, like, they never critique him properly. They're always attacking these things. Even people that might even sometimes be on his side will always like, oh, he is, they always go back to his physicality. He does not look like someone who deserves to be where he is. Someone who puts in the work, puts in the whole aesthetic, should be there. But for some reason, someone like Asmongold is there. It's like the universe failed them. The universe is wrong, and his followers who have kind of put him on that pedestal are basically wrong and evil for putting someone who is as disgusting as that in that kind of position. They should have put someone who embodies greatness. The fact that he also reacts to content, oh my god, that's literally sears people's skin off. We all know YouTube, the way they literally ban using someone's content in your video. It's crazy. But for some reason, someone like Asmongold can do it without repercussions. Obviously, I'm definitely sure he faces repercussions. And if you've kind of noticed, the amount of videos he reacts has kind of really reduced. So I'm definitely sure there have been copyright strikes or whatever, affecting him on all that. But the fact that reacts content, when you actually look at it, is really not as popular as it used to be. React content was so big at that time. I remember Aziland, even Mr. Beast used to react, and those were the people I used to watch. Aziland and the other guy, the other very popular React content guy, I've forgotten his name. Asmongold is really the only one who still is able to be successful from it, and his videos a lot of the time do better than the original video. And also that's what pisses people off because like I put in all this work into this video and Asmongold, who did not do anything, basically he stole my content, is making some, like, he's getting this amount of traffic. It's like it's wrong. So that makes Asmongold a thief and lazy and truly undeserving of what he has. He is a fraud basically. So yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people don't like him, because that jealousy, that insecurity, that's just all the whole shenanigans that they see or feel Asmongold has embodied basically. I'm definitely sure sometimes he wonders, damn, why do these people hate me so much? Like, and he said that sometimes he literally goes into the comment section to see what people are saying, and these people are visceral.
He was how did this happen? He looks like shit, right? He probably gets no fucking pussy. Asmongold, whatever the fuck his name is.
I don't know, man. There's clout. He's got clout.
They are just ripping him to shreds. Like, they are not holding back. And the fact that he draws in way more viewers, it's something they just cannot intellectually or physically or spiritually, mentally wrap their head around. Reddit is like the abyss of, where all his haters congregate. And also even on Twitter, it's not something unique to just Reddit too. And they say like they wish him death all the time. They wish for him to be killed by maybe someone, but they wish him death. They talk about how he killed his mother, despite the fact that they fully know well that he didn't do it, but they keep on saying it because they're not saying it because they are retarded or whatever. They're saying it because they want him to feel that yes, you actually were the reason why she died. She would have lived a better life if you were a good son. You were not a good person. You did not show her love. You were a bad child basically. And when they wish him death, I don't know, I think maybe because of the difference in our culture, when someone wishes you death, not like they want someone to kill you, there is like, it's a level of hatred you wish for someone because you don't want to have anything to do with them dying. You just want them to die in an unnatural way, like a freak accident. So when you hear, oh, this person died in such a freakish way, it's like, yes, this person died exactly how I wanted without me doing anything. The person just died a horrible, baseless death that they deserve, in my opinion. And I think that shows how really disgusting some of these people are, basically. And you know, if he is, because of how resilient Asmongold is, these things do not affect him. So they go for his followers or those who listen to him or watch his stuff. And when they attack them, they attack them as incels. You know, it's always the incel allegation, the misogynist. You all know the general thing. Incel is like an insult, like you are a male who is unproductive, all you do is goon, and you will never be. It's like you're a male who will never be something, and you are following the king of your uselessness. You know, it's like, don't follow this person so you won't be called this. They throw words that mean nothing. It's like a psychological manipulation. You know, he's just very resilient towards these things. I guess he had kind of repaired himself, because I mean, you can't go through all that without mental fortitude. You just can't do that. It's not gonna happen. And I feel his followers too are people who are resilient too. Asmongold is not unapologetically left wing. He's not, you know, he's not that. And you know, it's kind of really funny. That's something I also learned about left wing, right wing stuff. I kind of knew about that back home, but I just never really really dug deep into it. But it's so funny how that like left wing, right wing, bipartisan political denomination basically exists. Where I come from, there's nothing like left wing or right wing. The politics doesn't even have any wings. The wings have been broken and the politics has crashed. So we are literally picking up the rubble. If where I come from we had left to right with politics, Nigeria would be #1 in the world. Not being left wing, you know, gives ammo for his haters, because if you're not with us, you're against us. Like, and that makes you a Nazi, you know. It's really fascinating how you can call someone a Nazi like that. Like, that's a very horrible thing to say, at least in my opinion. You know, it's something interesting, and you can see it. You know, Zach Asmongold he's obviously not like Hassan, and who really pushes hard rhetoric. Funny enough, I actually knew Hassan before I actually knew Asmongold. I knew about him back in my home country. Like, Hassan is unapologetically left wing. He, you know, espouses the whole communist stuff, which is really weird, because I mean, you look at his family history, that's not giving someone who lived in a communist whatever. But yeah, I think it's maybe some other time we'll talk about him. I've noticed that in America, ideology is heavily empowered by, you know, cultural appeal and political capital. And due to the extreme levels of celebrity worship and glorification, whatever these celebrities peddle or, you know, rally behind kind of becomes the new religion, the new doctrine, the new dogma. And anybody who is like a lesser life form or lower class that espouses these things kind of achieve these pseudo moral ascendance. But what if an anomaly comes and disrupts that? What if an anomaly comes to destroy that orthodoxy, that belief, delusion, or whatever you want to call it? And I feel that's what Asmongold does. He pokes holes in these things, and he does it well and effective, and that draws viewers into his own side of the spectrum or whatever. And that pisses them off, because these people are political activists and they have a political agenda to push. Asmongold is a threat to that agenda. He doesn't obviously follow their orthodoxy, so he's going to steer people away, which it's like basically a competing idea. And not just that, Asmongold is the biggest of them all. He is much more popular than Hassan. Like, even though yes, I knew Hassan way before Asmongold, when you go to their YouTube videos, Asmongold, the average video draws in almost 400k. Like, the lowest viewed videos, his videos draws in million. Hassan videos don't draw in that at all. They don't draw in. Even on Twitch, where Hassan is, that is his haven. A lot of the time, Asmongold's numbers are always higher than his. So, and you notice Hassan is always poking and attacking him, because it's like, I should be the biggest political streamer, but Asmongold Zach who is a Nazi, a racist, a white supremacist, a misogynist, a Islamophobe, a homophobe, a transphobe, all these things. He is basically steering potential followers of a new agenda that these people are trying to push, they are trying to halt, the cancer that Asmongold is spreading hate, spreading attacks against minorities and women and every oppressed demographics you can ever think of, because a white male is not supposed to be in this space. A white male is supposed to be silent. A white male is not supposed to challenge these things, because any white male that challenges these orthodoxies, this doctrine, is evil, is a monster, and it's a monster that needs to be extinguished, exorcised, and vanquished from reality. And that's why they peddle these lies like, oh, he's a Nazi, blah blah blah. And in a way, they're just retarded, they're just saying lies. And yeah, but when you actually look at it, there are a lot of people who don't really do politics like that, obviously, who don't really do care. When you like a creator, maybe the creator might be left-wing and he's seeing this person evil, this person twisting this person's words into something that he actually did not mean. A lot of people would take it at face value, because deep down, I think it's not, well, we can say, oh, they're naive, but it's more like you really don't expect people to really lie about people, like blatantly lie, say pure lies about people, and also when they say things like, they say that word about him, it's like a very powerful, poisonous word, oh, even if you might tolerate these other things, racist, whatever, you cannot tolerate someone who harms kids. These are the most innocent members in our society. You cannot. So it's more like subliminal messaging. It's more like, oh, they are not trying to convince anyone. They're just trying to put it little by little. So even when you, for some reason, stumble across him, you just swipe. If you hear something that just sounds off to you or you don't like enough, you don't stay to listen to the end. So that's why these campaigns calling him racist is not going to stop. It's never going to stop, because it's a way to destroy his image and to destroy the chances of him getting potential, viewers or more following. It's basically a tug of war. Who is going to win this race of my political agenda must be the one at the top. Mind you, Asmongold isn't even conservative. He didn't start off being conservative or anything. I actually used to see him as, okay, he's very liberal, because if you notice, back then when he would always be in support of the trans, gay, blah, 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 and all of that. And people in his comment section or on Twitter would be attacking him for being too liberal, too woke, or whatever. I'm like, but now, even I'm like, oh, Asmongold would not say these things. And I won't be surprised if he only says these things sometimes to piss the so-called liberal leftist woke people. I'm definitely sure he does it just to piss them off, and he relishes in it, because when they're always on edge, they slurp up everything he throws to them, because they can't help it. They just can't help it. Their hatred cannot just tell them, you know what, I'm tired of being hateful right now, let me just go to bed. They can't help it. And in a way, that's the only way people watch them, because whenever they come for him, it generates views for them, and then he takes their views and uses it against them and gain more views, more followers, more whatever. Just imagine if Asmongold was a leftist streamer. Oh my goodness! I can't even imagine core leftist. I can't even imagine him being like that. I really cannot. Maybe actually I can see it, but he would be I think he would be very creepy if he was like that. I think he would be super creepy. He wouldn't be like a normal person, and he definitely would not be having these views that he wouldn't be having the amount of viewership he has. That's what I mean. Because he just not, I don't know, he would not be having it at all. He would be some creepy looking incel, whatever. If you notice, they always say Hassan is the one who will draw all these male chods, right wingers to the left wing, because he has the body, he has the looks, they always try to portray these elements, but it's he actually even pushes them away. If you notice something, Asmongold's core audience is, whether you want to admit it or not, it's mostly males. And a lot of people are not going to want to admit this, but the most powerful vote is not minority vote, it's not female vote, it is male vote. And due to the demographic percentage or majority, white males are the demographic majority. Just imagine if Asmongold is able to convince all these white males not to be like, he's able to get most of these white males. What do you think? Obviously, it's going to change how the politics work. Why I say the white male vote is the most powerful, because I used to getting here, I used to wonder, like, how come the Republicans are winning elections all the time? And obviously, they win. They've not really had a lot of like popular wins, but what has helped them is the core white male, a lot of them conservative, Christian, whatever. They have been the backbone of the Republican Party for like a long time. And yes, to a certain degree, white females too. But most white females vote Democrat. Most minorities vote Democrats. It's almost like the white male is the only group that they have that is their backbone. And the Republicans have been winning just on white males alone. That's to tell you something that is a very powerful vote. Asmongold makes it hard for these males, white males, Latino males, and all the various kinds of males that watch his content to gravitate towards liberal stuff. That way, they don't swing that way, basically. And that is something that really upset these people. Asmongold is literally the only one, and he says it how he means it. He will say things about black people, gay people, every Africans, Middle Easterners, Muslims, Christians, everybody. He's even coming for the white male audience too, and they don't like it when it comes to them. You know, the whole video talking about like, you know, how to protecting women, like men should not be like stalking girls. Girls always gets his audience. They don't like it when he tries to do that, like, oh, you are, you know. So yeah, he comes for the Africans. He comes for me, he comes for my country too. Like, why would he come for my country? My country is like the best. He's someone who you, even if you want to dismiss him as a chud, he's still, you just cannot, because he has that level of influence. And even with Hassan's, you know, astroturfing by all these media houses and whatever, he still does not come close. His Twitch numbers don't match up. His YouTube numbers don't match up. His Twitter numbers don't match up. And also clipping content too. A lot of people don't clip Hassan's content the way Nick Fuentes is clipped. I literally have seen all of the Nick Fuentes stuff on TikTok, which is crazy. I don't use Instagram, so like, yeah, I don't use Instagram, so I don't know. I hear it's there. It's, oh my god, it's rife on Twitter. But you don't get Hassan's clipping. People don't clip Hassan. Who is clipping him? Who is doing that? Nobody. Like, literally nobody. And some people might say, oh, they pay people to do that. Yeah, why is Hassan not paying someone to do that? If others are doing it, why are they not doing it? So it gives you the level of cultural influence Asmongold has. Like, the amount of people that clip his content is like, it's insane. And at some, I don't even think he even cares. Like, if whatever you want to do, he cannot be bothered. Asmongold and Nick Fuentes, you know, they always, you know, tell people not to vote. They even say don't vote for people who are against your interest. And most times it's predominantly towards a white audience. And that's, you know, is kind of like, if this group don't include us, then you vote against them, vote against their interest. Asmongold has said it multiple times. And it's really, really interesting because by demographic majority, it's the widest. So that means, obviously, when it comes to the nuclear family, the vast majority of families in America are predominantly white. So that means if a man is conservative, even if his wife is liberal, she probably would vote the way her husband votes. A lot of people think it's not going to be true, but a lot of the time they do. And even though on the internet you see people talking about, oh, I can marry someone who is not conservative or liberal like me, whatever, that's not true. People will marry who they want to marry at the end of the day, even if she's so liberal and he's so conservative. If she likes him enough, if he likes her enough, if they like each other enough, they will marry. And yes, they will fight to convince the other that, oh no, you should be Republican, oh you should be Democrat, oh you should be this, oh you should be that. So yes, and a lot of the time the man kind of comes out in the end because like he's the head of the family, and it's not always like that. Sometimes some women like are the head of the families in these kinds of situations. So it depends. That's one of the things I I see and I feel that's why they kind of attack the nuclear family, in America, because in a way, a family kind of votes together in a way, and the more conservative the family is, the more likely they are going to vote the same way. If you attack the family, if you attack the nuclear family, if you kind of try to thwart the family into something, whatever, you can break that influence the father might have on the children and swaying them on how to vote. Because even if your teachers are liberal or whatever, if your parents are people who are dedicated to their children, it's that culture, that whatever still rubs off on the child, and the child will you really cannot brainwash the child if the parents are very present in their children's life. That's why you see them always attacking all these things, trying to reduce parental rights and all of that. And I think maybe Asmongold sees these kinds of things, so he's like, nope, we need to scale back. We need to scale back. He speaks against these things, and people are becoming more aware of these things. They're becoming woke to these things, and a lot of Americans don't seem to like people that feel artificially, astroturfed, people who are kind of like put in a way that, like, who the hell is this person? How did this person get here? And, Hassan sometimes tries to come off as, oh my God, I'm a poor person. Seriously, your dad literally was almost like a CEO of okay, no, he was not a CEO, but he was like a top leader in a company back in Turkey. He doesn't come from a poor family, let's just put it like that. He might say, oh, I was poor, my mother didn't give me this. No, they did give you everything, because if you were poor, you would not be working in your uncle's company, and they were definitely not making you work for free. You were being paid. So yes, you were not poor, you were rich, and you literally bought a $3 million house in California. Like, $3 million? Okay, let's just leave it there. But Asmongold, his story is very, very simple. He talks about how he has grown up. I'm not going to repeat that. Go and look for it for yourself and watch it. So that makes him more down to earth. Also, another thing is niceness. Too, Asmongold doesn't curse. He doesn't always like curse out his followers. He might curse out those ones that are really, really getting on his nerves, the haters or whatever that come that just keep on asking stupid questions and things like that. But Asmongold doesn't insult his followers like that, or his viewers or whatever. He is not necessarily like nice or whatever, but he will listen to them. He will argue with them. He will say things that they might not like. But Hassan does not do that. He's always cursing them out racially, whateverly. He's always calling them incels, retard, inbred, whatever. Though in his family, they are like, I think his grandparents, I don't know what side, are both cousins, so he's kind of like the inbred one. These little things, will always give Asmongold an edge. Asmongold also, a lot of the time, rejects subs. He will tell you, don't sub to me. I am okay. Do not give me this money. I do not need it. And he's not saying it from a place of you're lesser than me, like, to hell with you and your money. It's more from a place that, look, I'm okay. We know how hard things are in America now. Don't ever feel like you need to give me something. I am fine, and people will still donate to him, and he will tell you, thank you for giving me. I don't know how well Hassan does that, but, and the fact that a lot of people don't talk about this, he worked for his uncle's company called TYT, which means the Young Turks. I don't really think people really understand the history of the Young Turks, what that name represents. Just imagine if a company in America was called the Nazis. Like, that's what the Young Turks were. They literally massacred, basically genocided Armenians, almost wiping them out of existence, literally killing more than half of them. Like, that was like the first recorded genocide, wiping them off the surface of the earth. Also, the Assyrians, the genocide of the Assyrians, and the near genocide of the Greeks. A lot of people don't talk about what the Young Turks did, and that's in his company. And Hassan Piker, who is so woke, doesn't call out these things, but he will call out every other thing, but not these little things. That kind of makes people. That kind of makes me, in particular, maybe those who are more aware of this historical stuff. This guy is not the. He's not the most truthful. He's not the most forthcoming. Asmongold is someone who is funny. Hassan, not so much. He's not funny, and he definitely cannot take being the butt of the joke, which is something Asmongold relishes in. Calling him everything you want to call him, the Roach King, the whole AI stuff, videos that they make of him, the cartoons, everything. He will even laugh at it. He will even tell you to go like this person's stuff. And that's something that all these little things, it's like he's a guy's guy kind of person. He takes life easy. All these little personality traits really makes you more appealing. That's just the truth. When you're so uptight or so giddied up or whatever, people just like, not this one. I don't want this kind of person around me. I don't like this person. But Asmongold is someone who is able to just relish in it. He maybe deep down he has an issue with it, but he's not going to show it to you. He will make his money. Like at least he can use the dollars to wipe off his tears. Like he talked about Occupy Wall Street, how Occupy Wall Street really opened his eyes to things. But I will say it did not push him over the edge. Gamergate, definitely sowed a level of like discord or whatever within him, his hatred for Anna Sarkeesian. I'm definitely, but he didn't really go over the edge still. Like, he didn't really his older videos, I don't think he like ever dissed her or anything, or like now that he people hate her. She's like the face of evil, basically. She's the face of why gaming has been destroyed, basically. But now he's much more comfortable, coming for all these people, attacking them, saying do not buy their games. Like you could literally see the amount of bad actors, trying to just paint all gamers as really not worth it, not worth listening to, which I always found very weird because I'm like, I kind of want you to buy my stuff. Like, I kind of, the whole idea, the customer is always right kind of thingy. I mean, it's kind of weird whereby you kind of hate the people who are going to buy your games because, like, how does that work? And it's more like a lot of these people are ideologically captured, so they see their audience as people who are consumers, and as consumers you're meant to consume. You're not meant to have a thought. Just buy it and move on with your life. But unfortunately, they forgot that consumers are human beings with feelings, with a brain which they can use to think. They are all not retarded. Maybe some of them are retarded, but not all of them are retarded enough, and there are levels to retardation. Gamergate is something that I feel Asmongold really, really focuses onto, because it's like that focal point for where he's like, don't come into this territory. Like I said earlier, don't come into this territory. This territory is me, myself, and I, and my people, not my non-people. And if you even notice, the amount of videos he used to react to, I would say they were in a way kind of way more diverse before, but now he no longer reacts to a lot of videos. I don't know if it's as a result of copyright strikes, but I'm 100% sure that some of the people, some of the videos he has reacted to, they have, maybe messaged him privately and said, don't do that again. Do not react to my videos. I don't want to doing that. But I've literally seen some creators kind of like, throw shade as his side, and creators that I like. Some of them, it was even true Asmongold that I kind of like got a whiff of them, but they're like, you watching my video is kind of like you're taking all the traffic away and leaving nothing for me. I'm like, ooh, okay. But like, I will like, and I will like, it's true because there's certain creators that I got introduced to through him, and sometimes their videos, when they release a video, it will pop up on my feed. I will literally wait for Asmongold to react to it. He is someone who is very chill, and as something that is chill, at some point, if it's in a room, it will get to room temperature. And if the room keeps on getting hotter and hotter, it's going to start boiling over. And I guess that's how Asmongold has kind of transitioned, because to him, I feel he sees these people as like festering insects, that just ruin everything. And seeing all these, he kind of has made this his mission to fight these principalities in gaming, and also he has come to this realization that politics really does affect everything. Like, even for someone like me back home, I never really saw politics as something that really that's something that I should care about or even give a damn about. And I feel that's how Asmongold, to a certain degree, went through life. Like, it's just, there will always be weird people. He doesn't see it as his duty to do it. But when it keeps on getting worse and worse, at some point, you kind of feel like maybe I should step in and be someone who keeps on, being a roadblock to these people. But I will say the straw that broke the camel's back on the whole evolution of Asmongold into someone who is controversial and hated is the Palestinian rant. When I saw that video, I was like, oh my gosh, like, I just knew something was gonna happen. When I saw it and something happened, like, he was banned. And, he came out, he apologized. I was like, wow. If you notice, after that whole thing, he kind of, started, he became more, even more, extreme. That Palestinian whole rant broke the camel's back. And I feel that he came out to apologize, and maybe yes, but he doesn't just see it as, just politics. There is an identitarian aspect, there is a racial aspect there, and there is also a civilizational and a cultural aspect. Because one thing if you notice, particularly if you're on TikTok, a lot of people, whatever, people who are not white will say, white people do not have a culture, they don't have an identity. But I'm like, I mean, people who have no identity, no culture, no heritage can't dominate people who have a culture, identity, and heritage. It should be the other way around. I don't know how that works, but people like he and Nick Fuentes are like, no, actually, white people do have a culture, do have an identity, and it's time for them to kind of stand up for that culture, that identity, that civilization, because if things keep on going the way it's going, it will all be gone. And I feel that Palestinian rants, change everything. A lot of things he said, you can see why he said what he said, because when you look at it, every other person is allowed to have an identity, have enjoyed their culture. It can be insular or, have their own east or phobe to protect them. But his own people, like white people, don't really have all that. But when you flip it, a lot of minorities will say, oh, white people dominate everything, so why should they have it? Like, they are already dominating everything, oppressing us, we don't have the same rights as them. They have the cultural capital, they have the power, they have everything. And the whites are like, no, we don't have this anymore. We should take it back. And if you're like a minority or whatever, immigrants, like I am, you're gonna see this and it's like, oh my god, white people are evil, white people are wicked. And when you go online, particularly on X, trust me, you will see all the whole racist, crazy old monkeys. Oh my god, like porch monkey. Like, that was the first time I even heard of the word porch monkey. Please, what does that even mean? Porch monkey, like a monkey on a porch? Just crazy. Well, usual suspect. 7% of the problem is the cause of 50% of the problem, whatever. It's just crazy. I really feel America is truly divided. And wow, Asmongold is now in the focal point of that. He's in the whole whirlpool goop scoop of everything that is going on. Why did he feel comfortable saying all of that? There are a lot of reasons, maybe because he's racist, maybe because it was the hit of the moment. I just saw the clip. I didn't really see everything that led up to that. But, it's like, I don't care about if these people are destroyed. They don't care about me. And there are people in that culture who actually feel that way about Western civilization. Like, I literally have seen videos of some of these people saying, oh, they want to take back Spain and Portugal. And I was like, why do, like, what? Like, I think it was like an imam from like Egypt was saying, we're going to take back Spain and Portugal. I was like, huh? What does that even mean? Like, why Spain and Portugal? Apparently, a place that used to be Muslim cannot become a Muslim or something like that. And that's what happened in Spain and Portugal. And these people feel that they have to take back their land and conquer more lands. It's crazy. And even before that happened, I'm Catholic. So I kind of like looking at, the coolest Catholic churches, whatever. So I came across one church in Spain. It's called the Mosque Cathedral of Cordoba. And I was reading about it. I was like, oh, really? Oh, when Spain was still under Islamic rule, it was like a church, then became a mosque, blah, blah, blah. But they've been having issues in that church because sometimes Muslims literally go there to go and pray. And it's like, it's a church, it's not a mosque. What are you doing there? And a lot of the Muslims will be like, oh, it used to be like they should share it with Christians. And I'm like, share what with Christians? When you have two different cultures, religions, whatever, in the same space, sometimes it causes problem. And I come from a country whereby I see it's rife. One of the reasons why where I come from is very divided is because of these religious issues and cultural clashes. It's rife. I'm sure he doesn't even know, but he already is kind of like glimpsing into the future. People like us experience it. Like, lucky for me, I live in a place that I don't have to experience that, but there are people who have lost their lives. I literally know people who have lost their lives to this kind of Christian-Muslim clashes. It's not it's not child's play. People have literally died for no reason, mindless deaths. So I feel that is Asmongold opening up to the fact that there are people who are just in fact different from you. They hold different values, they hold different, beliefs, and they are completely fine with the destruction of your own civilization, your own country, your own culture. And sometimes you even see these people, burning the American flag, waving the flags of their own country. So like, if you hate here, why are you here? Why don't you go back to where you come from? Well, America destroyed the country. If you're on TikTok, you see that a lot. Like America is literally blamed for everything. And at some point you're like, really? Everything cannot be America. And even when people point this out, and I mean like left-leaning people, they say, oh, who's paying you? Who's paying you? And it's like everybody is just talking over each other at this point. The whole Charlie Kirk thing too was also another like, okay, F these people. These people are evil. Like, I feel that whole incident really showed Asmongold that there are people who are so evil that if you look into their souls, it's like an abyss with hordes of demons that are just trying to claw you in. Like, it's devoid of light, goodness, kindness. They're just demonically evil. And I feel that whole Charlie Kirk situation, because I was on TikTok during that period, like the amount of people who were, even till now, like a lot of like really like stickers of Charlie Kirk, like in ways that are not okay. It's so crazy, and they don't care. Like, I feel that was like a focal point for all of America, and I really feel that really locked Asmongold in. And he's like, you know what? I'm not going to extend my hand to these people. I'm not going to try to understand these people because they don't understand me in any way. So I'm going to attack every dogma that they feel that they can hold. I'm going to break everything and tell them, show them that it's nothing. And that's one of the things that makes Asmongold dynamic. He doesn't need to like censor himself. What are you casting him for? He doesn't spend a lot of money. So even if for some reason you kind of destroy his career, which you really cannot do, he's someone who I feel he's like in the front that if he goes anywhere, they'll follow him. He might not obviously be the same level of how if he was like on a YouTube, he will always have an audience. You really cannot cancel him at the end of the day. And it's just a waste of time because even if you attack his viewers or you kind of make it hard for people to collab with him, he's 35 years old. He's almost 40. When you get to a certain age, you just really don't care about what children say because when you look at it, all these people who are always talking, they have kids. So obviously some of them are his age mate, but you're 35, your back hurts. That's what you're trying to figure out, not what, I don't know, some crazy person hater is saying. Like, he's old enough to have like a child that is almost 10 to 15 years old, depending on how early he had the child. If he gave birth like at the age of 20, his child would be like 15. If he gave birth at the age of 25, 10 years old, he's old enough to be a grandfather. You could even say, he's that old. He cannot be bothered about. And he's balding. When you start balding, when you're losing hair, I mean, you cannot be bothered. You might not always agree with him. I don't always agree with what he has to say, but you can't deny that he's very influential in the conversations on the internet. Even though he's not on TikTok. Now imagine if he was on TikTok, like I'm definitely sure he would have lost his accounts. It won't even fly. TikTok is not that place for. It's not for people like Asmongold. It's not. So yeah, I feel these are just some of the reasons. And yeah, peace.